He's a horny mother, hey, shut your mouth. Yeah, he's a dirty SOB. Yeah, he'll try to bang your sister or your mother, but at least let's please, he's nasty. He's nasty, nasty. He's nasty. Nasty, nasty. Nasty, nasty. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nasty, nasty. Man, that dude's horny.
What's going on, YouTube family? This is Astinosis here, coming at you with an Eversoul video, and today we are going to talk about building souls and what I feel like are the best practices and worst practices, a combination of the two, based off of my own experiments. Now, I don't profess to be the end-all be-all for any of this. This game is still very new. It's only been out for what? I think we're on day 5 now with the missions and everything, and I've still got a lot to learn, but just from experimentation and everything, I feel like I've discovered what works best for me, and it might work for you too, and I just wanted to share it. Now, the game does tell you how to build your souls, because as most of you know by now, if you've started the game, the gacha aspect of this game is mostly souls. There is a very minor artifact gacha, but it's not as much of gacha. Like, it's basically like, that's more of a waiting game, and how long is it going to take you to get the artifacts that you need per soul, and only epics can get those. But that's not what this is about. This is about when you're leveling up and ascending your souls. The game gives you a very basic, like, hey, this is what you do. You can only mix and match the same types, so souls that are the same beast, fairy, human-like, undead. And we haven't seen a ton of information on angel versus demon. Mind you, I have Ayame, but I don't have any doubles. Those are the rarest units in the game, so I am extremely lucky the fact that I got that. But what I wanted to go over is when you go into the Arc and you go into the Ascend Soul. Actually, first let's dial back. Let's go to the level sync. Now you're eventually going to unlock what's called the level sync. Now, at first, what I was doing was I was like, okay, here, let me pick my top 5 that I want to use. It works at first, but eventually you're going to go ahead and switch it up. Now, the beauty is you have free resets on characters. As far as I can tell, it is, as long as you have the monthly sub Manon, which I do, it's a very small investment. I think it was like 12 bucks or something. Then it makes it free. I don't know how much it costs otherwise, but somebody else would have to weigh in on that. But this is where you set your characters, and what I do is I try to make sure that I've set the characters that can level up the most, because what happens is the lowest level character, so say for example, if like my Mephistopheles is level 133, the rest are all 120. If these 3 were 125 and Nicole over here was still level 120, then all units over here would then sync to 120. Now you see 120 obviously because they're all the same level. That's because I have to reach the next tier in order to get where I want to go. So basically build whoever you want to build, but then set your syncs as best you can, so that way you can kind of diversify your roster. And as you build your characters to be able to go beyond the level 100 limit cap, that's when you want to put those characters over here. Eventually you're going to overflow, and you just kind of got to experiment with what works best for you. Now, once you do that and you have the characters that you want at the time, now, oh, forget this is not an emulator. So you go to Ascend Soul. Now it's going to tell you how to do it. Now, what you're going to want to do is the epics that you pull, you're going to need dupes of those eventually. So it's if you get extras, in order to get to the first legendary level, you do need 2 dupes. So say for example, you pull Jade, you need another Jade to epic plus her, and then you can go on beyond level 100. So that lets you go to like legendary and beyond. Now, aside from that, your rares, you're going to get a ton of rare souls. That's going to be characters like Karen, Alicia, Ruri, Shireen. You're going to get tons of them. So these are going to be your fodder units that you use to build up the characters, the characters that are base epic. Because the epic characters are going to be the ones that effectively will eventually make up your roster. Now, does that mean that the rares are to be, ignored? Of course not necessarily. Some of them are very good. So If you want to, especially if you are a free-to-play player, I would highly recommend that you take one that you really want to save and then just build that, and those can be your first that make it to the legendary threshold or legendary and beyond, and they will get you through content, especially if you're not getting so lucky with the epics. This game is really free-to-play friendly from what I've seen. I personally have invested a bit of money into it because I can, but for those who cannot or just don't want to, fret not. You're going to be able to get some souls built up, not a big deal. Now, like I said, you want to go ahead and lock the dupes that you get from epics, unless of course you're making that one into, you know, the next tier, because otherwise when you hit auto, it will see, like, say for example, if I didn't lock out some of my Mephistopheles dupes or my other dupes, you might see them in this right here with Rose. So you don't want to do that. So it basically makes it really easy. It fuses a bunch of dupes for you. And just to showcase, so now we got all these rares, and now they're all bumped up to rare plus. And then you just effectively keep doing it. Okay. Now we got more. And then you do it until you can't do it anymore. Now we're going to get them into, we're going to take these rares into the epic threshold, right? Because these are going to be the units that go through. And now again, you will see mix and matches. For example, Ruri and Shireen here. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if you really want to be meticulous, you can do it manually, but honestly, it's not really worth your time. Again, if you want to save one, I went ahead and didn't for now, but eventually I do want to make certain characters. Like, for example, I really like Karen's design. I mean, obviously, because big boobas. Rose's design, because I really like not only her design, because also big boobas, but also I love that she deals damage, like she deals fire damage and heals your party at the same time. So damage dealing while healing, that's pretty cool. So you just keep on going until you can't anymore. So now we got a whole bunch of epics. Okay, now the next tier up, it'll keep on going. Now we're gonna make a bunch of epic pluses. And so here I kind of luck out because I don't have to worry about mixing and matching. And then boom, we make some epic pluses. Okay, so now here is where it gets a little bit on the meticulous side, and it's like, okay, now it wants you to choose who you want to fuse. Now, unfortunately for me right now, like, I really like to get my Mephistopheles, you know, keeping on going and as high as she can go, but I'm kind of locked out on that right now. So at this point I got to look at who I want to build up next, because if I go to my Mephistopheles, yeah, see, she needs another legendary plus in order to move on to, I think it's Eternity or Origin, whatever the next one is. Let me see here. From legendary plus it goes to eternal. That was close. Eternity, eternal, you know. So anyway, let's see, should I go ahead and demo a full, like I'll make a legendary for you guys. Let's see, who should I do? Okay, good. So I have two. I can turn Naya into a legendary. That's cool. She's a very good unit to grab. So again, she is a gacha. There's also other means of getting them. I'm not covering that in this video though. So here I can take these two Alicia epic pluses, and then boom. Now Naya is a legendary. So it seems really confusing at first. Like at first I was like, oh my god, this is very, very overwhelming. I don't know where to start. What should I do? And then I took a step back and I'm like, okay, this really isn't as bad as I think it is. It's actually really quite simple. It's just get out of your own way, get out of your own head. You know what? For the sake of just shits and giggles, Claire is a really insane tank. I don't really need a tank right now, but just another example how easy this is. Boom, we have another legendary just like that. So if it seems daunting at first, just take a step back, take a deep breath, and don't fret, you know, who you're going to do, because eventually you're going to be able to build so many units you're not even going to know what to do yourself. And again, like even with the level sync, like as you can see, I've got a bunch of units I'd like to build, but I only have so many of these. And let's see, 9, even with these like 800 Everstones, I don't know how much it is just right off the bat without any of these leaves of life. But again, just play the long game. Unless you can uber whale it and go crazy, then hey, you do you. You know, your money is your money. But anyway, I hope you guys found this video helpful. I just wanted to make this because when I figure things out, I like to try and break things down Barney style and kind of give a visual of, you know, how it might work. And I hope this is helpful. If you guys have any comments or any questions or whatever you think I could do better with these. And again, for the DFFO community, this does not mean I'm not doing DFFO anymore. It's just that I am trying to branch out and do more games, not just DFFO, because I love all role-playing games. I love all the waifus. I love all the boobas. So let's spread the love. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is Nasty Asti signing out.